Hi there. Good morning to all our viewers and listeners and people who have taken the time to join. My name is Edith Venter, and we're in conversation with Mr. Gay World, South Africa 2021, and the two gentlemen who were runners-up. One is going to be joining us shortly, just having a few little technical difficulties, but he'll be with us when he's able to get through all of that. But really, I wear a couple of hats today. So I'm here on behalf of Oracle Media, and Edith Venter Promotions has the honor of having a wonderful collaboration with Oracle, and they do amazing work. So it's an absolute pleasure to facilitate this chat this morning. And yeah, we're just going to relax and have fun, and you're going to get to know the young gentleman concerned a lot better, and yes, and we hope you enjoy the hour or so that you're going to have with us. Obviously, it's Pride Month, International Pride Month, and that's really why we are having this conversation, because I think things have evolved so hugely around the world, not only in South Africa. So yeah, you know, we want to find out how these young gentlemen feel about it, and what their views and their takes, and you know what they find in their community. So we're going to have a lot of really super questions, and I know we're going to get some great insight from the young men that we're going to chat to. Obviously, I also wear the hat of Edith Venter Promotions, our company, and then also a stakeholder in the Mr. Gay World South Africa pageant, as well as the Mr. World South Africa pageant, which was held a couple of weeks ago. And obviously, that's why we have these young gentlemen with us today. So I'd like to introduce you to them. And if you bear with me, I do have their CVs, and I would like to read them so that I don't put anything across that's incorrect. So our winner of Mr. Gay World 2020, South Africa 2021 is Lo Breitenbach. He's 31 years old, and he's from Boksburg. And at the age of 12, he was diagnosed with mental health issues, of which he has 8 diagnosed disorders. He carries through, which he carried through his adulthood and on a daily basis. Despite this and many other challenges, including 3 suicide attempts in his early youth, a highly publicized car crash in 2019, and severe PTSD, Lo managed to lift himself up time and time again. And I can promise you, I've had the pleasure of knowing Lo over the last month or so, and what an incredible gentleman he is, and just absolutely awesome. As a businessman, he is the director of the National Arts Association of South Africa and the owner of the LALT House of Growth, a community theatre school, which he started at the age of 21, when he was still paying for his own studies. He is the proud holder of a degree in theatre education, a degree in education, and a diploma in theology. Lo has also worked extensively in television and was a presenter of drama Mamas on VIA, scriptwriter for Cake Nets, Chat No, and featured in various shows including Legacy, Hoor My Sin, My Sun May, and Vergewe My. In 2020, Lo made his bow as director and producer of the documentary The Lowdown, a personal project for Howler and the Talent Theatre, focusing on mental health and depression. And I know that's one of the things that Lo is very, very passionate about, and he's going to do a lot within his reign now. Lo's passion shines through everything he does. His love for community, charity, and kindness is the trademark of his character. And for the past 2 years, he has also proudly headed the Gate of Hope mental health awareness campaign. Currently, Lo is studying life coaching and devotes his time to charities, his family, and his passions, including exercise, reading, and theatre. He also has a stunning Dalmatian, of course, and living in the moment and chasing sunshine are my new life mottos, and he does it so well. And with that beautiful smile on his face, welcome, Lo, to this morning.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay. And then our first runner-up, who is Bonginkosi Ndima, he hasn't joined us, so I will introduce him when he does. But our second runner-up, another incredible young man, Shannon Canagan, 28 years old from Benoni. So it's definitely that neck of the woods. And I'm pleased to say I was born up in Edenvale, so I can relate. That's sort of my hood as well. So it's really, really great to know that we've got these awesome young men from the East Rand. So his CV, which he has given us, he says, growing up queer in my community was definitely a difficult and hurtful challenge. As children, we were not exposed to gay culture. However, today there has been a substantial growth amongst the LGBTQ community, even to an extent where our trans brothers and sisters are feeling more comfortable to come out, which is a good thing. After matriculating, I got a lucky opportunity to do missionary work with my church. I got the opportunity to travel to all the provinces in South Africa, as well as the country of Lesotho. This definitely ignited a spark within me to connect with people from all walks of our beautiful country. In 2012 as well, I joined the local Benoni CPF, which is a community police forum, joined the Benoni BCSI, which is the Vulnerable Citizen Support Initiative, as part of the youth desk, whereby I was trained to be a trauma counselor. In 2012, I was selected as one of the 12 learners to be part of the Katlego learnership for one of South Africa's retail banks. It allowed me to work in one of the branches while still obtaining my qualification in banking and finance. This was the start of my career, and since then I have been in the banking industry, still employed by the same bank over the years. I've been nearly in every position in branch banking, assisting clients on a day-to-day basis with their financial needs. In 2014, at the age of 21, I was promoted to my first managerial position. Today, I fall under head office working in external sales, where I go out to business owners to create a business relationship. In 2017, I obtained my REO 5 and was deemed FAIS accredited. Working in the bank as an essential worker during the COVID pandemic, I've been exposed to the public that faces serious financial after effects. Being on the front line, I've got to see the financial damage the pandemic has caused to our people. Starting from an underprivileged background, this matter sits close to my heart. This is mainly caused through lack of income due to unemployment. My dream is to develop a free of charge job agency that serves as an intermediary between the unemployed and the large businesses. It will aim to develop and prep all possible recruits for future vacancies. Some of the services I would like to render is to source out vacancies, assist in drafting professional CVs, getting sponsorships to dress for the interview, to boost image and confidence, to complete training on how to project in that interview. These are just some of the small initiatives. However, it will make a huge impact, and hopefully in the near future, I would like to develop as a non-profit organization. So you can see these two gentlemen that we do have with us today are very accomplished and very confident in what they do. And it is a pleasure to know them. And I do believe that Bongs is about to join us and he's connecting. So we'll introduce him as we go. But while we're waiting for Bongs to connect, I'd like to start maybe with you, Lo, and just to ask you, I mean, what does Pride Month mean to you?
It's such a beautiful question because for me personally, there's a lot to be said about pride as a nation and pride as an LGBTIQ person, and then for our greater community in the LGBTIQ community. But for me personally, pride has a special significance in the fact that I am proud that I am still here. I'm proud of my queer brothers and sisters who fight this journey with me. And I am proud that we finally have strong allies where people realize you don't have to be gay or be a gay rights activist to support equality and inclusion. And that is the beautiful essence of Pride, when we celebrate it together and bring honor to those who have come before us. Pride Month has its founding in 1960 with the Stonewall riots, but so many years later, we still have issues in our society to fight for equality and to be a voice for the voiceless and to be a voice for inclusion. So Pride for me is two things. It's a reminder of how far we've come. And then secondly, it is a reminder of how far we still have to go to make sure that we have strong allies that fight this journey with us so that we can truly be inclusive and equal, not just on paper, in the law of the land, but truly united with purpose, like our tagline at Mr. Gay World SA says, to make sure that we have a united front as South Africans and as citizens so that we can move forward in our heritage.
Okay, fantastic. You know, I'm always in awe when you do chat and you answer these questions. You just do it so eloquently, and you just put it into such perfect context that it's really, really great, really. Shannon, just to ask you, you know, what does Pride Month mean to you?
So Pride Month to me is definitely a celebration. It's a celebration of where we are today. Coming out these days, it's much more easier. Okay, in general, to come out is one of the most difficulties any human can go through, because you are afraid of what your community, your family, your friends are gonna say. Are they gonna disown you? Are they gonna have a different perspective about you? So definitely Pride is a celebrating. That's why we saying they're celebrating Pride Month. It's a celebration of what we've accomplished. Definitely 2021 right now as we're speaking, it's one of the best times to be gay. There's even laws implemented such as criminal injuria to protect us as queer people. So if we feel hated or if we feel mocked in society or in our workplace or in a school, there is laws and regulations in place to protect us. But it didn't just come overnight. There's obviously a large trail of queers in our that left a legacy behind to make our today better. They're the ones who were in the struggle in their times, laying the foundation for us to be comfortable today. And I think it's time, like Lo was saying, we do have still a long way, we still have a long future to lay down the foundation for other challenges that we are facing today, that we are facing yet to come, so that the next generation can say the same things about us. But my overall answer is that Pride is definitely celebrating who we are. We are here, we are queer, and we're not going anywhere anytime soon. That's my answer.
We don't want you to go anywhere anytime. We want you to stay right here with us because we love you. We love you all. Thank you. Bongs, you with us. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, sorry for being late. Good morning.
No, it's really lovely to have you. I did introduce you I introduced Lo and I introduced Shannon. So I just want to introduce you quickly to the listeners and then answer that question for me too. So Bongs says he's an actor, a reality show star, fitness trainer, a qualified online video editor, and a philanthropist. But I believe I am more than just these titles. I am passionate about life, very kind and also compassionate. I recently got certified as a digital marketer, but what keeps me busy is my passion for mental health. I run a foundation, Bongs and Demo Foundation, which I am the founder and the CEO. The foundation was created to cater to young men all the way to adults and also educate people about mental illness. substance abuse, peer pressure, cyberbullying, and also we provide assistance to those who need professional assistance, like seeing a therapist, clinical psychologist, etc. Bongs, we do know that you do amazing work in your community, and congratulations for what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
No, and that you've made. I don't know if you're able to just turn your camera to be like a portrait, not portrait, but to landscape. I'm not sure if you can. If you
like
can,
this?
Yeah, but we don't want you on your side. No.
I don't think it's gonna work.
No, that's great. Just leave it
I don't think so.
No.
All right, cool.
I just want to know what does Pride Month mean to you before we carry on with other questions.
For me, it just means to be heard. Basically, the people that started Pride were feeling a bit oppressed. Well, not a bit, they were oppressed, and they wanted to be visible. They wanted to be accepted. So Pride Month basically is about fighting for your sport, fighting to be heard, fighting to be visible, fighting to be included. So I think that's what Pride Month is. Yes, I know over the years it has lost all that. People now think it's a whole celebration where we need to go out there, yes, and run around and do other things and party from from Friday until Monday. Yes, it's part of celebration, but we need to find the essence why it was started. The reason why, like Lo said, people wanted to be heard. People wanted to be out there and be visible. They wanted to be accepted. Yes, a bit of celebration might be part of that, because I think over the years we've noticed most people, when we go out there and want to be heard, we use different ways of translating the message. But I think for this year, I think we need to fight for a cause deeper than that. We need to make sure that even the hate crimes that are going around all over South Africa, they need to be stopped somehow. We need to rally people to actually speak out about these things. Because I think another thing is that most people, they think just because it's not affecting them, then they do not have to take part. But that is wrong. You're also an accomplice by not saying anything. You're also an accomplice by not reporting such, because some of these crimes, they actually happen where people are also aware of them. And then no one wants to come forward and say anything. So that also makes you an accomplice. Yes, like Lo said as well, our allies, they need to come out now. We need them more than ever before, because we can't do this alone. And so for me, yes, Pride right now is just for fighting to be heard, fighting to be safe, and fighting to be included.
Thank you, Bongs. And I might just add here that I know recently you really suffered something that was very sad and went through something that was very sad. I know one of your very, very good friends was actually murdered for being gay. In fact, stabbed multiple times. And it just makes me shiver when one hears that those things happen. And, how did you feel? I mean, what was your reaction to
that? We're still in shock, Edith. We are still in shock. Like how it happened, because we don't know the story. We don't know what happened, whether it was a boyfriend or a hookup. No one really knows. But it's someone that knows him very well, because he wasn't stabbed outside his house. He was stabbed somewhere else. And the person stabbed him 9 times. So you can see there's so much anger and there's so much hatred. I don't know what happened. I don't know whether it was an argument, but I don't think anyone deserved to be stabbed 9 times. And then the person or the people who did this, they didn't stop there. They transported him from wherever that did happen, and they dropped him outside his house, obviously to be found. So I don't know. I'm just still like shocked. The amount of pain that he must have been. We don't know whether when he was dropped outside, was he still alive or was he already dead, because they only found him in the morning. So I don't know. I'm just paralyzed because I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say.
I don't think anybody, regardless of whatever deserves that kind of treatment. And
Yeah.
I think it's something that the gay community and the LGBTQI community is still experiencing out there. And I think that's what the three of you are going to actually use your year of reign to actually also highlight as much as what we can do. And I mean, we're all here to support you in however we can make a difference as well with you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just learned of something new as well. There's another guy that also just got murdered as well. He also got stabbed. I'm still waiting for the details, but his name someone gave me, it's Mpilo Kaba, 27 years of age. He was stabbed on Sunday evening, and was found on Monday morning, which is yesterday. So it's ongoing, Edith. I don't think it's going to stop. And I think this is the right time for us to actually go out there and speak about these deeds. The government needs to take control of the situation. I don't know how, but we need to speak. I think being silent right now is not even an option anymore. We need to make noise.
No,
and we want to be heard.
I agree with you. And I mean, Shannon, coming to you, I know you experienced, quite severe abuse and whether it be verbal or whatever in your community originally. And I mean, it's something that you've worked quite strongly towards changing as well.
Yes, definitely. So what happened with my situation, it's more social media related, whereby my community, Actonville, they posted a post to say that they're proud and one of us were in the top 3. And what happened was the people in the elderly people in the Islamic community were giving negative comments, stating that it's actually haram. Haram means it's prohibited. It's like halal is allowed and haram is prohibited. And then that sparked because other people started clashing and they went on making so nasty comments saying, can you believe we actually having a pageant for Morpheus? Those were some of the comments. And it was and what happened is that it heated up so badly that like a lot of people stood behind me as well, and then they started arguing online. And what happened is that the post actually had to be removed, and the admin of the post had to re-edit, and she took a stand for me, and then she blocked those people who were making negative and laughing comments and mocking. And that's just something that we've been going through, and especially coming from neighborhoods, smaller neighborhoods, and it is something that we've grown up. Thank God we are living in a society that has so much support, and it is something that I've gone through my whole life, so I know how to handle it better. This is just a small part, but I'm glad that it created awareness, and it does show that, yeah, as much as we've accomplished so much as a community, that we still have a long way going forward. And the worst is definitely the hate crime and killing of queer people. I think that is the worst extent. Nobody deserves to lose their life, especially for being who they are. Some people might say we have a choice, but I disagree. I believe God made us this way. I've never been like, if you knew me as a small boy, you'll see that I was definitely feminine. And God doesn't make mistakes. And we're not asking for acceptance or approval like I responded. We're just asking that hopefully in future you might understand who we are. But for now, could you respect us as human beings, just like yourself?
No, absolutely. And good for you too. I mean, I just find you an amazing young gentleman. I remember watching you on the ramp of the night of the pageant, and you really owned that ramp. I mean, I know all the finalists that stood with you that night, you really owned that ramp, and you were just so confident, and it just shone through in how you answered your question, how you interacted with everyone. I mean, you were really, really just amazing. Lo, I mean, maybe coming to you, and I mean, how do you feel? What are you going to be focusing on, you know, and through the competition, and how we can maybe bring attention to the gay community? You know, what are you going to be sort of focusing on during your year?
So, I actually find this question quite often over the past 2 weeks, and I always start by saying you have to start with what you know. So what I do know is mental health, and I know that it touches so many people, not just the LGBTIQ community, but also our heterosexual allies. And what's interesting about it, and why I feel so passionate about it, especially for our community, is the fact that in our community, LGBTIQ youth are twice as likely to commit suicide more than any other demographic or age group in the entire South Africa. And when SADC released those results or those findings, it just made me realize how far we have to go to give a voice to the youth of our country. And because I work in theatre and I have these theatre schools, I get to see children every day. I'm in contact with teenagers every day, and you get firsthand experience of the struggles they go through. And I think we often forget how young and vulnerable and how easy they are to succumb to peer pressure and the support they need. We almost think that, oh, teenagers are so grown up these days that we almost forget their needs and how much support they actually need in these confusing times. So the biggest focus for me will be mental health, especially in the LGBTIQ youth community. And then I've also spoken to my colleagues because Bongs is so involved with mental health, especially under our men and African men. We're going to take hands together. I already reached out to Shannon, and I know he has a big thing about body positivity that we would like to include in the community. I don't know how many of our people who are joining us today know that the LGBTIQ community are 17% more likely to develop body dysmorphia and eating disorders than our regular people. So to drive home that message of you are good enough, you are worthy, you are seen, you don't need the six-pack abs to join a pageant, but in this pageant, throughout the 11 finalists, there's someone that you can look up to, someone who looks like you, someone who's represented by you. We had femmes, we had jocks, we had skinny guys, we had tall guys, we had short guys, we had bigger guys. And it was so beautiful because each one of them have a special message to share. And what we will be focusing on in this year of REIGN is to actually take hands with all 11 finalists, or my 10 colleagues then, to each month focus on something that they are passionate about, whether it be mental health or poverty or community work or body image. We will tackle one of those topics each month to make sure that we get our voices heard as loud as possible, that we are included, and that we are truly united, and that people know it's not just about the win and the sash and the crown and that suddenly makes you something. It truly is about community, and it is about heart. And if we don't have that to start with, then we can't search for approval from our allies if we don't approve of ourselves, if we don't root out the internalized homophobia and the internalized ideas of what we think each other should look like, then we can't go to our allies in a united front. So a large part of that message is to bring the LGBTIQ community together and then reach out to our allies to pose a united front then to our younger generation.
Thank you. I'm glad you brought up the fact that, and it was so incredible to see on the night of the pageant that there were so many different gentlemen. I mean, it was just so great. And each one was, each one just shone through, and it was great. And I mean, just listening to what you have got planned coming up and for the year ahead of you all, I think that's an incredible way to approach it, and to give each and every one of those young men who are all so awesome a chance for them to focus on what they want, and what they want to achieve, which will obviously better the communities and the country. I think we've just got to keep pushing the boundaries. We've got to keep pushing the messages. We've got to keep everybody focused on the fact that people are allowed to have and to be who they are and what they want to be. And we need to respect that, each and every one of us. And hopefully we're going to get there sooner rather than later, so we can stop these terrible tragedies that do still happen and that shouldn't happen. I mean, I must say South Africa is one of the few countries in Africa that obviously still accepts the LGBTIQ community and all they stand for. But we need to, I think there's still a lot more that needs to be done and education that needs to happen. Bongs, I'd like to bring you in now and just say, how do you feel that gay rights have changed? And I know you did touch on it a little earlier, but and what do you feel what do you feel that has become more socially acceptable today? So how it's changed and where we are today. But having gone through what you've just gone through, one sometimes wonders, but we're getting there.
Edith, I don't want to lie. Yes, we all thought things have changed, right? We all thought, okay, finally we are able to do what most heterosexual people can do: get married, adopt kids, and they actually passed a law a couple of years ago where now a single gay guy can also adopt a kid without having a spouse, because initially it was like you have to be in a relationship for you to actually adopt, and it needs to be a conducive environment for you to actually have a kid. A lot has changed. Yes, the law is there and is supportive, but the structure in the community is lacking big time. Take an example for these hate crimes that have been happening. That's a clear indication that a lot is not going well. People are not as accepting as we thought they were. They are not comfortable with having gay people or the LGBTI community being themselves. Because I think 1994 until now, a lot has been happening. A lot of laws, regulations have been passed to support the LGBTI community. But still, up to this day, to wake up to such news, to wake up to such crimes, a lot of gay people right now are not free. Yesterday, I actually received an inbox from one of the LGBTI member. The family is basically on his case. They're calling him all names, and he's actually been having suicidal thoughts because for him, it's not a conducive environment to be around family. But then because he's unemployed, so he can't move away from home. Now he's faced with all these insults every day, yet he's trying to be in a stable and having a sound mind. And there's COVID as well, which we know it has brought so many and so much stress and depression to a lot of people with job losses and everything. So just to answer the question though, a lot has changed. The laws have been there, they've been laid down, but people are not gravitating towards change. They are moving actually away from change. They don't want us to be who we're supposed to be. They don't want to allow us to live the life we're meant to live. And it's 2021. Come on, guys. Can we just move on? Like, can we seriously just move on? It's such a sad time to be alive because most people, like I said, they're even scared now. I know a friend of mine who was in Joburg last weekend. They were supposed to be going out to this party that was planned in a public place. It's supposedly a gay accepting venue. But then there's also straight people that usually come there. So he was like, I don't want to be another statistic. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, no, those guys are always angry there. So with all these hate crimes that are happening, I don't feel safe to be in that space anymore. So I'm wondering now how many people are actually feeling like that. How many young people that are out there who actually wanted to live their life the best way they can, but now they feel like those rights are being taken away from them. No one is actually, I don't feel safe myself. Yes, I might look big and strong, like I'm able to defend myself, but I don't want to lie. The truth is, I also don't feel safe.
Okay. I mean, it's a serious problem. I mean, how do we change it? I mean, well, what do we have to do to change this kind of mentality? I mean, we don't want to go backwards. And sometimes it feels like we are going backwards. You know, we're not moving forwards. How do we change this? What do we say to the greater South Africa out there? I mean, what can we do?
You see, for me, it starts with small things that we have to change in our behavior. Something as simple as staring when two people are holding hands takes away freedom from them, because if it were a heterosexual couple passing, you wouldn't even think twice about it. But the moment you look around to see a gay couple or a lesbian couple holding hands, it immediately takes away that freedom already, because they are already being judged, even if it's just out of curiosity that you are looking. That acknowledgement that something is wrong or something's out of the ordinary already makes them feel out of place. I think it starts changing by allies not just saying we approve of gay people or we like gay people or I have one gay friend, but to actually stand up and talk about equality and inclusion within their workplace, talk about equality and inclusion in television programs. There's so little representation just in TV shows for young people to look up to, especially, and Bongs, correct me if I'm wrong, but especially for me, witnessing on the outside and coming from a theatre industry of African representation within the gay community. And we need to see more of that, whether it is in the workplace, whether it is in our schools. We need teachers who are able to be out and proud. We need to have musicians who are able to be out and proud without being judged or threatened that their contracts might be cancelled if they tell someone that they are gay. Something simple that needs to change just from a rights perspective is that in 2016, South Africa broke ground in passing the it's the Prevention of Combating Hate Crimes and Hate Speech Bill. And it was such a pivotal moment for gay rights in South Africa. But up to date, that law has not been put into action to prosecute people who commit hate crimes or who commit hate speech against the LGBTIQ community. So it starts with something as simple as taking the law that is on paper and implementing it in our lives, because we are equal on paper. Most companies have a very clear policy regarding inclusivity in the workplace. They even do sensitivity training. And, you know, companies have really stepped up in opening the floor, even with Oracle. I think it's amazing that they are opening the floor to do these kind of chats. It's stunning. But that is just the little bit of the start of where we need to go. It shouldn't be just an event. It should be a lifestyle. We should be able to chat as freely about gay rights as we talk about gender-based violence in South Africa. When we talk about poverty and job losses, we should also be able to address hate crimes and inequality in the workplace. The same way we talk about racism and call racism out, we need to be able to also call out homophobia and lack of representation and transformation in our schooling system. And if we can do that, and if our allies can unmute themselves and start speaking up with us, I think then only do we truly have a chance of creating a freer and more equal society where we can really take hands together. And that's where I applaud the Mr. World South Africa organization for allowing our contestants from the heterosexual pageant to join with Mr. Gay World SA. And it was so beautiful to see so many of those gentlemen this morning posting Pride messages and messages for Pride Month, because that is how we break the stigma. That is how the gays don't become the others or the feared others, as we are often referred to. That is how we normalize identifying as a different sexual orientation. And I think that is where we're going to see the greatest change in our communities, is when we start speaking up, not to only fight, but to unify. And not only to scream and shout, but to have discussions and talk about how we see the world differently, and where there's place for us to come together and say, I respect you, you respect me. And even though we may have different beliefs and different ways of viewing the world, different religious views on this matter, we can come together and we can acknowledge that we deserve equal rights, we deserve inclusivity, and we deserve an equal democratic opportunity to have our voices be heard and our lifestyles be accepted within the greater community.
Thank you, Lo. Yeah, that was very eloquently put. And I'm glad you touched on the Mr. World South Africa and the Mr. Gay World South Africa pageants actually running, you know, one day after the other, and that our whole slogan around that is and will continue to be united with purpose, because we feel there should be no stigmatization, there should be no you know, no, you're there and you're there. I mean, we live in a united world and a united country. We would like to think so. I mean, I go back and just listening to what you were saying, I have a very large group of gay friends. I mean, and I love them dearly, many of them. And if any of them are listening, a big kiss to you. And I wish you a happy Pride Month, because you really are incredible. And I'm going back longer than what you young men have been alive. I'm going back 30 years, maybe 40 years, and I'm not kidding. Oh. So where then it was very taboo, it wasn't, you know, no laws had been passed in, it was frowned on very seriously. And yet I had, you know, I don't know, for me, I've never seen a difference. A person is a person, but my gay friends are very special to me, and I will always support them. In fact, I think around this whole pageant, I think on one of the social media quotes, somebody said, "Is Edith Fenter gay?" Because she's always and I said, I would be proud to be. I mean, I have no problem. What is the difference? Because that's how it should be, you know. That and I know also around this pageant, I mean, I was even shocked at some of the social media posts that did, you know, come out, where it was so ugly and it was so vicious and it was so vile that I thought, how you know, how is your mind that you even think these things? So I agree with you. There's a long way to go, but and I know the three of you are going to make a huge difference in your year of reign. Shannon, what do you feel? How do you feel? You know, what still needs to be done out there? You know, where we've come from, where we're going. You know, what has to happen? Because I just want it to happen. If we've got to go and march, if we've got to go and do whatever we've got to do, if we've got to go to government and knock on the door,
yes.
if we've got to go to communities, you know, what do we have to do? I'm here, you know, me, little me, but I'm sure there's a million of little me's out there that want to support you guys. What do we have to do? Shannon.
Definitely. There is so much to do. I wouldn't know where to start. But like they say, in order to eat an elephant, you have to eat it piece by piece. And I think taking one small step at a time. And also just to remember that charity is not something that we have to bend over or break the bank. You know, it's about making a difference in somebody's life, doing something small every day, making every second count, even if that is just acknowledging somebody who has insecurities about themselves and telling them, you know what, you are beautiful, to us going on a larger platform and making a campaigning out there. But like Lo says, there's 11 of us. We each have our own stories. We each represent a different a different image, a different community. We each represent something else, but we have the same purpose to make change. So it would be beautiful of the 11 of us to take 1 month of the year and we focus on a different topic or we focus on a different structure. Obviously, the serious things like, I know currently is it Zayn Ali, Zay Ali, who is the chairperson of Pride Africa. So she's got a campaign that says stop killing queers, stop queer murderings on the gay pride page, and it's something she's strongly about. And I would like us to actually get involved with it because it's definitely killing. I think that's the worst. If you look at the after effects, if you look at like bongs, what bongs have to say, that is for me the worst, taking away somebody's life just because of who they are. And I think that's one of the things we should work around. We should pay more focus to, but we definitely would like to get around all of the subjects and all of the topics. And I think by the end of this year, we hope to have made such a big difference in our community and in our country, and making it easier for our next generations to love.
Yeah, I agree. Bongs, what do you think? I mean, because you've been affected so badly these last week or two or whatever it has been. I mean, what do we have to do? Well, I just get very frustrated listening and hearing about the awful things that are happening that shouldn't be happening.
No, it shouldn't. Not in 2021.
No.
It shouldn't be happening at all. I think what we need to do, though, as the top 11, including myself, and the rest of the country, because Edith, I've actually realized there's a lot, especially in the Black community, there's a lot of people that actually want to take part, whom we're gonna draft into whatever we are doing, because they are willing, they're out there. I like what Lo said, that we need a lot of representative from the Black community, the LGBTI, because I think most of them, the reason why they're not there, it's not because they don't want to take part, it's because they probably hadn't seen like someone who looks like them or someone that they can associate with. Yes, media has portrayed different picture of how the LGBTI works in the Black community. And I blame them for that, for not representing everyone that is out there. But then to answer your question, what must we do? I think right now it's time to make noise. It's time for us to be out there. Like you said, even if we have to knock at the government's doors or wherever that we need to knock at, we need to make noise and they need to make a difference and they need to take charge. Sorry. Law said there's a law or a regulation that was passed in 2018, which still hasn't even been put into practice right now. Such things need to stop. If you allow such to continue, then these hate crimes are going to continue until some of us have passed and long gone. So we need to pave a way for the ones that are coming before us. And if we don't take charge now, no one else will. And no one is going to protect those who are coming before us. They need us more than ever. And we need to rally everyone, our allies, whoever wants to take part. We need to go out there, make noise and make noise and make noise until something is done.
I agree with you. I think it's very important. I don't want to, I just want that we get to a place where everyone is comfortable in being able, if you are gay and you need to come out, that they do it, in a secure environment, in an all-encompassing where people pat you on the back and say, great. I mean, that's you, and you should be able to express your position or your ideas or whatever they might be in a secure and safe environment. I don't want anyone, I would hate to think that anyone should be scared to express who they are. And yet, I mean, we see what's happening and yet people are. So I think you young men are going to make a huge difference in the next year. We can see it. We are so proud of you, as we are with all of the top 11 finalists that we had. In fact, top 12. The one gentleman, of course, couldn't join you because he had COVID a week or so before the pageant and couldn't join. So I know you've actually got another voice out there as well.
Mhm.
I'm sure would be more than willing to join, as we all are. As a stakeholder, we're right behind you. I believe very sincerely in free speech and expressing ourselves, and let's hold hands. And you also have 15 finalists on the Mr. World South Africa side who are all rooting for you, and like we've seen on social media today, they're as proud of you as what we are. And I think you've made so many friends that you can't even imagine. So and please, go and have a look at the posts. Everybody out there, anybody who's listening, please go and have a look on the Instagrams, on the Facebooks. It's just been incredible. It's been a barrage this morning. So, there is a lot of support out there. Lo, Bongs, and Shannon, there is a lot of support. And to all of you guys, and we're here. Like I said, I'm ready. I'm happy to go knock on doors. I'm happy to go march. I can make a big noise. I really can if I want to. So, I know all the stakeholders, we're all right behind you. So whatever we can do, and I'm sure there's many listeners that are watching right now, viewers, who hopefully will post, and however we can all join hands and create a force to be reckoned with, because this is nonsense. It's got to stop. You've got to be proud. It's Pride Month. Pride, that's the word, pride. We are proud. We are proud of you. And we know you are proud of yourselves. So a quick little, I know we have not, I can't believe that the hour is gone. What happened? We could go on for another whole hour because there's so many more things that I'm sure we wanted to express. So maybe I'm going to allow you to, Lo, let me start with you to just in conclusion, how would you like to end this morning?
I think if I can leave one last final thought with our viewers this morning, it is to know that your voice matters. You might think that, oh, you just have 5 Facebook friends and it's not something you relate to, or it's not something that sits very comfortable with you because of whatever, whether it's religion or just your moral outlook, and you might be very uncomfortable watching it this morning. But I want to urge you to open your heart, open your mind, and start engaging with people from the LGBTIQ community, and to not be afraid to hear other people's stories, because the moment we sit around a table and we get to exchange ideas, exchange conversation, and exchange our shared life experiences, you will find that we have so much more in common than the things that separate us. And love is always so much louder than hate. So I would lastly drive home a message to love louder and to be kinder to everyone around you. And happy Pride Month to you all.
Thank you, Lo. And Bongs, your final word?
Oh, come on, final word. This will basically be directed to the LGBTI community. If there's someone out there who's probably still struggling with his sexuality or her sexuality, and you feel like you want to come out, but the environment you are in is not conducive. I know your mental health matters more than anything, but you need to understand that your safety is the most important thing. So if the environment is not allowing you right now to be who you are, and you need a friend, I'm here. Just look for Bongs Dima across all social media. I'll be your friend. We'll talk through this thing. I'll guide you how to navigate through these tough waters, but you need to make sure that your safety comes first before anything else. And just take care of yourself.
Thank you. Thank you, Bongs. And Shannon, last
Okay,
but
definitely.
not least. Okay.
Thank you. To any of the viewers listening, who are like Bong says, who are in need or in help, whether it's something that's in this platform or out of this platform, we are here. We as your top 3, top 12, top 5, the Mr. Gay and Mr. Gay World, South Africa. We are all here to help you, to support you. We in your corner. No matter what struggle you're going through, everybody's story is different, and your story determines your glory. And our quote is always united by purpose. And if I have to explain, this is something so passionate. If you have to take a Coke bottle, a 2-liter Coke bottle, and walk with it everywhere, go to work, come back home, at first when you carry that Coke 2-liter bottle, you won't feel it. But as days and weeks go past, you'll feel the heaviness of the Coke 2-liter bottle, right? And it just takes one person. If they can come and hold that bottle for you just for a few seconds, you'll be able to hold that bottle for another 2 weeks, another month, so forth. So that's what United with a Purpose. It's us saying there, here's our hands. Can we help you just for a little, but even longer, we're here to make a difference. And don't ever feel that your problem is too small, or whether or it's something that doesn't matter. We are here for you, and we'll always be here for you. And like, you can find us on our social media platforms. And no matter what, we are here for you. Like, that's all I can say. And it's Pride Month. I want us all to be proud. I want us all to celebrate and be as loud and as gay as possible as we can be. And above all, be proud of what we've achieved and where we are. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, to all the viewers out there, I hope you've enjoyed the last hour. I mean, I'm sure you'll agree, what 3 incredible young men to be carrying this torch under the banner of Mr. Gay World South Africa. We couldn't wish for better. And to our finalists, each and every one of you made a huge difference, and you are going to carry on making a huge difference. We're going to keep obviously in contact with you and doing things with you, because we really want this to be a success for you. We need to make that change that we need to make. I would like to, as a last comment, to say a huge thank you to Oracle Media for giving us this platform this morning to be able to express all these views. And like I said, we could have had another hour, another 2 hours, another 2 weeks. I think there's so much that around the subject. But you know what? It's Pride Month. Let's be proud. Let's go out there. Let's support everybody. Let's hold hands and let's make that difference. However big or however small, it all adds up. And we want to get to where we want to be. We want to support these amazing young people out there. So thank you. Thank you for joining. Again, thank you to Oracle Media. We really appreciate the platform. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.